play the video that. Oh yeah.
Did you guys tell her we're going to be playing a little video?
Yeah.
And Peyton, do you have those things? Those two things? Not now, but later.
I'm going to turn off my phone.
I as well. Thank you.
Let me see it. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining the Unite the People radio show. I wanted to start off by saying thank you to everyone that joined last week, who tuned in and interacted with us through our social media. I want to say thank you to everyone for that. Today we're here with Chelsea, one of our legal team members.
Hello.
And we have a special guest, a superwoman in the community, a journalist, a really great person in general, Jackie Rae. Want to introduce everyone to Jackie Rae.
Hello, everybody. Oh, okay.
We're excited to have her.
I'm excited to be here.
That's right. So we're going to jump right in. We have quite a bit to talk about today, but we want to learn a little bit about you and who you are and what you do.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jackie Rae. I'm originally from Denver, Colorado.
Oh.
I know people. Every time I tell people that, they give me a funny look. But yes, there are black people in Denver. I was one of them. I moved out here. So I went to school for journalism.
Right.
Chelsea and I were talking before the show. I actually paid for my first year of college on a bowling scholarship, and then I got a.
Yeah.
What's with the giggle?
I didn't know you could do that.
Go
Didn't know you
ahead.
could do that.
Bowling?
Yes. So I was on an amateur bowling tour
In Denver.
in Denver, and that's how I paid for my first year of school. And then after that, I was on a police scholarship for the rest of the time. So it was a full ride scholarship because I was just not going to pay for school.
Yeah.
It was not on my bucket list. And then after that, I moved. I worked for the WB as a production assistant for about 2 years before I moved to LA with my band. So I moved out here to pursue the singing thing. And then
What was the name of your band?
we were the Funk something. I can't remember the name. We fought over that name. We changed our name like every other day. And then we lost half of our band members, and then we settled on Triple Soul because there was only 3 of us. So we went from like 6 of us to 3. So we were Triple Soul.
Yeah.
And then Triple Soul was not as good as we were. So that band ended up breaking. But we did good, though. We opened up for Lighter Shade of Brown. They came out here for a lowrider thing. We opened up for them. And then I went solo. And then I opened up for Charlie Wilson. And then,
Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie. That was my favorite show. And then I opened up for Tyrese. So we had some success.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, we very quickly realized it's not going to work, as far as finances were concerned. So you fast forward, I did some odd jobs here and there, and then I ended up going overseas to an island called Saipan for 2 years to be a news anchor and journalist there. And then I moved back here. And when I moved back here, LA is definitely one of those places. It's out of sight, out of mind. And I had been gone for 2 years. So when I moved back, it was nothing. Like I came back and I drove for Uber. I ended up getting a job as a HOA manager, which that's the worst. If there's a job you can put on your list to not get, I would suggest that one. That was the worst. But then after that, I ended up getting a job with The Fumble, which is a sports, it's a sports show that comes, well, at the time it was just a sports news show, but now it's just a morning show. And then doing my own kind of thing, Long Beach Post found me, and then I ended up with the Long Beach Post. The Long Beach Post is actually an interesting story because I was working at The Fumble, and I was also working part-time for a property management job. Had to get that free rent. This rent out here is crazy, so I had to get that free rent.
Yeah, I know.
But I hated that job. So one day I was just like, all right, God, I'm about to quit. Like, I don't know what that means for you, but I'm done. You need to do something to get me 100% back in my field. This part-time in my field, part-time in something I hate, that's just not working for me.
Right.
So I was sitting in the office typing up my resignation letter, and then I get this call. So probably a year and 2 months earlier, I had applied for a food writing position for the Long Beach Post. And Melissa, our editor there, she called me kind of giggling like, why did you apply for this? You don't have any food experience. You actually don't have any newspaper experience. All your experience is in broadcasting. Why did you apply for this? And I was like, honestly, free food in Long Beach. And so she started laughing. Her and I, just had a general conversation, get to know each other. She's like, well, I appreciate you applying, but obviously, you're not qualified. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know. She's like, all right, well, best of luck. Hung up the phone, didn't even think about her. I'm sitting in the office and I'm typing up my resignation letter, and then I see this number come on my phone and it says Long Beach. And I'm like, who do I know in Long Beach? I have one ex in Long Beach. And I was like, it better not be. So I picked up the phone and it was her. And she's like, hey, it's Melissa. Do you remember me? And I'm like, no. She's like, from the Long Beach Post. I'm like, oh. Wait, do I get to be the food writer? She's like, no, you're still not qualified. She said, but we've been listening to your podcast for the last year, and we don't have a voice like yours for the Long Beach Post. We think we need you. So we want to create a position for you. We're not entirely sure what that is. Pitch an idea to us. Come down to the office on Monday and pitch it to us.
Yeah.
So I hit send on my resignation letter and like, okay, God, this pitch I gave on Monday got to work. And I came down here and I pitched the podcast to them, and they were like, yeah, we want it. And that was that. I started the following Monday.
That's amazing.
Okay.
What is your podcast name?
It's called The Word on Long Beach.
The Word on Long Beach.
It comes out every single Monday. And doing the research I did on the Long Beach Post, they don't really have, they have a Latino voice. They have, a female voice, but they don't have a black voice. So the goal of the Long Beach Post is definitely, or the Word on Long Beach is definitely to provide that black voice.
Right.
And just the voice for anything in the community. I think sometimes it's easy to grab the major headlines, but something as simple as, hey, my friend just started this new business. He's black, his family, can you share the word about that? So it's literally anything that impacts the community in any way, shape, or form. We did another story about the situation at Poly High with them wanting to take the charter status away. That impacted a lot of people. That was my very first show. So anything that really impacts the community. So just want to give everyone that voice to let them know they are heard, and it's important.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a whole lot of information.
And this obviously is my first rodeo telling people my story, right? So just get it all out.
Yeah.
But you left something out.
What did I leave
I was
out?
hoping you got to that. The other day, you told me a story. And I don't know if you want to share that story or not.
I don't mind sharing that story.
Can you tell the people a little bit of the story that you told me the other day?
Yeah, so I'll give you the short and sweet version as much as I can. So like I said,
take your time. We want to hear it all.
Okay.
We're not in a rush.
Okay, so I, like I said, was a police cadet in Denver. So that pays for your schooling. It pays for your schooling and your books. And so one of the requirements, you basically go through the police academy, and it's a cool program. If you really want to work in law enforcement, you get your schooling paid for. You've already gone through the academy, so you know what it takes. You do have to re-go through the academy. You have to go through it again, but you already know what it is, so you know what's going on with it. So I did all that. I was killing it. I was testing top of my class, in the academy and all that. And at that point in my life, I had decided, okay, being a cop was never something I wanted to do.
No.
I just did it for the scholarship. But I was like, maybe I should be a cop so I can help black people because they be doing us so wrong, right? Okay. So I was like, maybe this is why God put me here, is because maybe this is my calling, right? Yeah. So you have to also ride along with cops. That's part of your job. Yikes. And I was young and stupid, so there were some situations that were dangerous, but to me, I was like, oh, this is great. Now I look back on it, I'm like, Lord Jesus, I have no vest on, I had no gun. Like, what was I thinking? But at the time, it was fun. But there was this incident where we pulled over, and I was telling Caesar why it triggered me is because my dad used to always tell me, you can't drive with 4 black people in the car, 2 at a time. And any time that I would be leaving and there were 4 of us in the car, he would call me and be like, nope. Run it back. Right. Only 2 at a time. Yeah. Right. And so I'm in the ride along this day, and we see these 4 black men, young black men, actually about my age, in the car, and the cop pulled them over. So instantly I'm like, why'd you pull them over? Because now I'm triggered, Yeah. And he just looks at me and he goes, oh, they had the air freshener thing hanging from the rear view, and I'm like, come on, bro, like that's whatever. So he pulls them over. They asked the driver for his license, registration, all that. He gives it to him. Everything comes back clean. So they asked the guy in the passenger seat and the 2 guys in the back, and they were all like, well, why would I give you my ID? I'm not even the one driving. Yeah. But eventually they relented. The guy in the back passenger had a warrant, and it was a stupid warrant. It was like some sort of traffic warrant or something. It wasn't like a violent or a real crime kind of warrant.
Real felony.
Right. So then they get everybody to step out of the car. And then, I'm kind of engaging because low key, I'm embarrassed. You know what I mean? If I'm going to be honest, I was like, dang, here's a little black girl. And they looking at me like sis. And I'm like, I'm trying to go to school. Riding along. This ain't got nothing to do with me. So then I see the officer that I'm working with miraculously. Now, we had a bus prior to that where some cocaine was involved. So I knew where he got it from. Mm-hmm. But miraculously pulls out some cocaine from the back of the car. So instantly the kids are triggered like, hold on. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? That's not not theirs. And he gives me this look, and I'm like, sir, that is not theirs. He didn't put, that's not from there. I just saw you put it in there. Yeah. So he gives me this stern look, and then pulls me to the side, and he's like, yo, this is a bad kid. We need to get him off the street. I don't know if he's bad or not, but I know he didn't do that. That's all I knew at the time. So I was like, no, this isn't right. So then, I'm talking to the young man, and I'm like, yo, you just got to make sure, somebody in your family or somebody is here. Don't let them railroad you. And then when his mom comes, I tell his mom, I'm like, yo, that cocaine was not his. Yeah. If you need somebody to testify, I will testify. Right. And like her eyes get all big, and I give her my number and everything. Long story short, that escalated. I ended up losing my scholarship. I didn't care because I didn't really want to go to college anyway. So I was like, okay, you just giving me a reason to leave Denver. So I ended up losing my scholarship. But through the process, I ended up connecting with that family. That young man didn't go to jail for something that he didn't do. And then they had to give me my scholarship back. Mm-hmm. So I say all that to say, if you ever listen to my personal podcast, which is called At the Half with Jackie Rae, I come down on the cops a lot. Mm-hmm. That's just one story. I saw a lot.
Where can they find your podcast?
On iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere.
Anywhere you can listen to
anywhere you can listen to podcasts. And
what was it called again?
At the Half with Jackie Rae.
Okay.
So I come down on the police a lot. Yeah. And it's because I've seen firsthand that we're not making this stuff up. And I think the thing that really bothers me is to see something like that. Like, again, at that age, I had heard about it, but I hadn't seen it. And when you see it in front of your face, and the 2 things happened in that moment. One, I realized our voice wasn't big enough, because if our voice was louder, that cop would have never done that, because he would have known the backlash would have been swift and it would have been fierce. Right. The second thing I learned was that blue and blue is not a life. Let me just make sure y'all know
Right.
that. It is a job. It's
Yeah.
not a life. There's no such thing as a blue life. That's a job.
Right.
But they don't think of it like that. So in that moment, I betrayed some sort of weird brotherhood.
Some weird.
You know,
gang.
as if my blackness wouldn't come first.
Right.
It's
Damn
like,
that brother.
right. It's like, hold up. You ain't a real brother. Like, what are you talking about right now? So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I realized very quickly that as a black, especially a black woman, I was not going to have the impact on the police department that I thought I would.
No.
So I instantly backed out of that whole
Yeah.
me being a cop thing. So that was the end of that. So I was like, let me circle back to this music and journalism thing. So that's how that happened.
So what happened with the cop that tried
Nothing.
to plant? Nothing.
Nothing. It was deemed a miscommunication, like it might have fallen out as he was reaching in and he
Right.
didn't realize. Every excuse in the
Yeah.
book. He's still on the force to this day. I saw him the last time I went back to Denver.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. They don't respect us at all.
At all.
Okay. Tell me, or tell us a little bit about who you work with now. I heard earlier it was a bunch of who you're working
Yeah,
with.
you're all the place.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. So if you ever see me with bags under my eyes, you know why. So
Crack?
do you get bags under your eyes from crack? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I just said it.
Yeah, okay. So obviously I work with the Long Beach Post, and then I work for The Fumble, which is owned by Urban One, which is a black-owned company. Shout out to Urban One.
Urban One.
And then I work for Nightcast Media, also a black-owned company. Shout out to Nightcast Media, which I am part owner of. Shout out to me.
Oh, really? Nightcast Media. All right.
So Nightcast Media is founded by Nick Hamilton. Nick Hamilton has been in the business for 12 years, strictly sports reporter.
Right.
And he's been building, and now we're building that together. And then I freelance for iHeartRadio. So anytime they need an anchor for the KFI radio station, I fill in for them. And then I also, about twice a month, do a sports show on the Going Rogan show for NBC.
Okay.
Okay.
So your girl's busy.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
so
busy.
You're the Kevin Hart of journalism.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Just taller.
So,
I
Right.
didn't say nothing.
so what is it around Long Beach that inspires you to write?
So when I first moved to California, the most that I knew about California was all those shows about California,
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood and all that stuff. So I was like, ooh. So the first time I came to Long Beach is because I got lost. I moved to Gardena when I first got here.
Right. It's not far.
It's not that far.
Yeah.
And I got lost. And I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. This is nice. And there were so many black people here.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo. And being from Colorado, let me just tell you, that might sound like it's no big deal, but being a black woman from Colorado where you got to look to see people that looks like you, I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah, they're out
This is
here.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then sidebar, I'm probably telling too much. To see black men with black women, didn't see much of that in Colorado either. That's not a thing. It's still not a thing. So
Oh, my bad.
Read the room.
yeah, read the room, my guys. It's probably got real hot on the back of your neck right now. But I just thought it was a really beautiful place, and I always wanted to live out here. And then when my dad passed in 2015, I started looking for a house in Signal Hill because
Right.
Signal Hill has it's similar looking to Denver. So I wanted to move my mom out here.
Okay.
So I started looking for a house out here. So then I started spending a bunch of time out here. I didn't know how expensive Signal Hill was though. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to work up to Signal Hill.
I was about to get to that. You were just saying you didn't want to pay rent in college or
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Signal
Yeah.
Hill.
That Signal Hill is its own animal. So
Nah.
That's nice though.
Well,
Yeah.
doesn't Signal Hill have a bad rapport with the police?
Do they got bad police?
Signal Hill's its own little area. So that was one of the first things I found interesting when I started working for the Long Beach Post. When we get these reports from the police or any kind of crime statistics,
Right.
there's always like this circle in the middle. And you'll have crime statistics there, but you have to kind of get them. And that's the Signal Hill area. So I don't know if they have a bad rapport with police as much as they're their own
Yeah.
animal. So
Well,
they just
bad
kind of.
history, right, huh? Yeah. Somebody got arrested and got hung or something.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know all that.
Yeah, it was beaten and hung, but his hands were tied behind his back.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right. So if you can't hear, our good friend Uncle Kevin
Kev.
It has said that someone was beaten and hung in Signal Hill, and if you don't know, Signal Hill is up the street from Long Beach.
Yeah.
It's like a little community.
It's surrounded by.
It's surrounded.
It's
like
surrounded, but yeah, it's like in the middle, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. That'll be something I have to. He was a high school football player.
He shouldn't have even been in the jail.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make sense. If he's a high school football player, well, I guess maybe he didn't make it to the jail. He's maybe in processing or something.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's horrible. Now, that brings us to how you and I met.
Yes.
Tell the people a little something about you and I met.
So I was, we have a young lady at the Long Beach Post named Chante. And Chante is awesome. She does, if you ever go to the Long Beach Post and see all of our like studio eats or side street eats and things of that nature, she films all of that. She's immensely talented, but she understands exactly who I am as a person. So I think your publicist had emailed her and said, hey, you know, we have this organization. We want you to come out. Yeah. So she was actually about to email you and say, okay, yeah, I want to cover this. And I just happened to walk over to her desk and I was like, hey, what you working on? She's like, oh, God, I have something I need to pitch to you because I think this is perfect for you. And I'm like, okay. So she pitched it to me, and I was like, oh, say less, fam. I'm on this. So I emailed you that day. And then we were supposed to meet at a different time. I don't think we had officially set up a time, but then your publicist said, hey, come out. And the funny thing is I think she told me who was coming in the email or the text message that she said. I think she said Tori's coming, but I think I was moving so fast that I didn't see it. So she was like, hey, can you come on Friday? And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Friday's good. And so I'm all prepared to come at one time. And then she's like, can you come earlier? I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Because I be moving so fast.
You're busy.
So then when I get there and she keeps saying, Tori's coming, I'm like, you keep saying Tori like I know who is Tori? And so she kind of gave me this look, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to ask that question again. Yeah. Apparently, I should know who Tori is.
Read your email.
Yeah. And so then I'm out there, and I'm like, all right. She's like, well, he's come. You told me. You're like, oh, I'm going to go down and get Tori. I'm like, I'm not going to ask Tori who. I'm just going to be prepared for Tori. So I go and I stand by the elevator, and then the elevator opens. I'm like, oh! It's so, oh my God, like nobody. Now I got to keep my cool, right? Because I don't want everybody to know. I didn't know who was coming to the event.
Imagine it was Tori Spelling.
Oh, girl. Yeah,
that would have been hilarious.
Right. Right. Then I'd have been like, y'all got me up here for this? Like,
we love Tori Spelling. I watched 90210. I love 90210.
Okay.
Do you want to talk to the people about what exactly Tori Lanez was doing?
Well, yeah. This is what we're going to do. We want to address that because we haven't addressed it yet.
Yeah.
And for everyone who doesn't know, last week, Unite the People invited between 30 to 50 families or family member representatives to come down to Unite the People. Now, what we did was we actually went back through our lists of people, families that have contacted us needing legal assistance that couldn't necessarily afford that legal assistance, or maybe even signed up with, our staff to retain our services and then weren't able to pay the remainder of their fees. And so Tori contacted me one night and said, hey, man, listen, I want to do something for the people, man. I want to do something big. I want to help a bunch of families. So we put this thing together. We contacted these families. We didn't tell them who it was either. And we just told them, hey, listen, we have something really nice for you guys. We have a celebrity that wants to come in and speak with you, and we're going to set up something. So they're not quite knowing what it is exactly. And we get these families down. We get them down at the same time, the same day, which was really hard. It took a lot of work. I mean, we had families coming in from Vegas. We had families coming in from up north, from everywhere, right? And so we get the families in. They're super impatient. Like, there were ladies ready to jump on Peyton over there, one of our legal team members. We had to, pump him up, like, Peyton, don't worry, you can take her. Right? Yeah, right. But the lady came in like, hey, I'm ready. What's going on? What you want to talk to me about? And then, we sat him down. Hey, listen, it's going to be really nice, you guys. We're going to surprise you with something. And then Tori came in. You were there.
yeah.
We went down. Tori called me. Hey, man, I'm downstairs. Mitch and I, my brother Mitch, who helped me start the organization, which wasn't mentioned in the post. But
That's not true. Oh, your brother wasn't
yeah.
mentioned in the post. You're right.
Yeah, the co-founder. It just
Yeah.
said Caesar McDowell.
I'm like the black sheep of the family.
Well, you made a comment about Colorado that explains all of that.
No. I love black sheep.
No, so Mitch and I went down. We got Tori. He came with his people. We brought him up and brought him out the elevator, man, and let him go out and inform the people, hey, Tori wanted to come here and meet with all of you and pay everyone's legal fees, man. If you couldn't afford to pay it, he's going to pay it off. If you started with us, he's going to pay it off for you. If you're here and you couldn't afford these legal fees, he's going to pay it off for you. So they took, I addressed the people, he addressed the people, then we got all the clients inside, got everybody signed up. We had the staff, the lawyers, all of our legal team members, yourself, and we got everybody in, man, and got them signed out. They left with paperwork saying, hey,
Yeah.
I owe nothing, and these people are going to represent me. So it was huge. It was beautiful for me, especially coming from where I came from, a guy I was in a prison cell 12 months ago. I was on the 5th tier in San Quentin State Prison. And, thanks to my brother helping me, now I'm sitting out here 12 months later, CEO of an organization that was able to bring in 30 to 50 families who couldn't afford legal help and have this guy come and pay it off for him, and then have journalists actually want to cover me or us or what we're doing. It's huge for me. So it was beautiful. So
Clearly not covering me.
Again, your Denver comment. No, I'm just kidding.
she's talking to Mitch.
Clearly.
If Mitch is not on the camera, just so you guys know.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
all of a sudden, that juice is good. Just now.
Right. But that was big. That was beautiful, man. And still to this day, we're getting people contacting us. We're getting people still saying thank you. I've had people calling me from the prisons like, man, because they, if you got my number, you can't call it collect.
Oh.
So there are a few that make sure they call it collect. But it's good. It's good to talk to them, and now they don't have to worry about, Mom, can you pay this, or grandmother,
Right.
you know what I mean? So, that was big. That was really beautiful for us. It was definitely a good thing for the people and a good look for us as well.
I mean, it was good to just be there. Outside of the journalism thing, it just felt really good to be there. There was, and forgive me because I forget your name, but she's really tall. And I told her, I was like, it's rare that I meet a woman that's taller than me. Melinda.
Oh yeah.
And
attorney.
no, not the attorney.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
The young lady with the little boy.
Okay.
I can't remember her name.
Oh, the lady with the Hispanic lady.
Yes.
Yeah, with the little boy that Tori was talking to.
Yes.
Yeah, she was really tall.
And she was tall, but when I spoke to her after, she was like literally shaking, and she was just so. She said the thing that she said that resonated with me. She's like, I have hope for the first time in a long time. And so as a journalist, I do have to say those are the kind of moments that you kind of live for. Moments that speak to you and you feel like I'm getting a story out that might help other people. Yeah. Those are the moments that you kind of live for. And I was like, I know we're in a pandemic, but can I give you a hug? And she's like, yeah. So it was just, and her little boy was there, and he was just, all
super cute,
super cute, super happy. I don't think he understood the moment, but he understood something good had just happened.
Right.
And it was just a beautiful moment, just on a human level, to see that. It was a really good moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt for us, because we have a personal relationship with a lot of these people. Like, we've heard their personal stories, we've heard their loved ones' stories. And to be able to call them and tell them, hey, come up here. We got something for, that was big.
Yeah.
That was big.
Yep.
But it was definitely a nice day. And I got to do it with my brother and my nieces and family and all that. So, yeah, that was definitely good. Now, today, I've probably gotten maybe about 15 to 17 text messages from them families. I don't know. And Tori is not going to jail. Whatever they're saying online, don't believe it. They got a thing going on online right now that Tory Lanez took down his Instagram account. He's on his way to jail.
I haven't seen anything like that.
I've
Yeah.
seen some things.
You did?
Yeah.
Huh.
And so a lot of those women, and this is what's so good about it, this shows you human, right? This is people. He just helped them, and they know he got enough money to hire every lawyer in California if he wanted to. But now these ladies are messaging me. One lady, I can't just say her name, but one lady messaged me and said, hey, can we set up a picket? Can you guys, can you call all the people back and let's go picket in front of the county jail because they're arresting Tory Lanez right now.
Aw.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's sweet.
Beautiful.
So I immediately called Atari, his assistant, and so I was like, nah, man, he's not going to jail, brother. He's just flying out here right now,
Yeah.
and he's about to drop a new album, so he's revamping all his social media. So he's not going to jail.
Okay.
You know, if it was something where they raised his bail or something, there might be something in court, but from what they say, he's good. So, yeah, he's all right. But I definitely want to say thank you to that brother. You know, he was the one to put up the money. The staff put up the work. Really, I'm just in the middle. So,
Right.
You did a good job.
Hey, you know what? We had a little video made of was it Friday?
Yep,
maybe
Yeah.
Friday.
we should lead into that.
Oh, okay.
Well, how about that? So this is what we're gonna do for everyone. Can they hear it on the radio? CPI can hear it. Okay, so we're gonna play a little something now. We actually have a little 1-minute clip. We do have more things, video from that day being edited up, coming from Tori's team, our team, and it's gonna be up on our websites and social media. But right now, we want to run a little minute clip for everyone and kind of show you guys what happened that day.
Been an advisory board member for 3 years in
Yes,
this
sir.
prison reform non-profit organization that helps people get legal representation.
It's Unite the People. We're a nonprofit organization that promotes social justice throughout the United States, as well as we provide affordable legal services to the underserved communities throughout the state of California.
So we go
They-
past the time of like once people already get sentenced,
Right.
we're fighting for them when they already got sentenced. It's not over.
Right.
It's not
Right.
over.
Thank you to Unite the People because this means a lot to me and my son. My husband doesn't deserve to be in there. Without you, I wouldn't have been able to do this because he really wants to be home with his son and his daughter.
It's okay. There you go. There you go.
Jordan, it's nice to meet you, Jordan. I'm Tori. When he come home, your dad come home, have party cake, all that. Alright, truly people who've been through the situation as well that are gonna feel for you and feel exactly what you're going through and they're gonna fight from that same perspective. So we got you.
All right, all right.
Oh,
Well,
That
that
was
was beautiful. We're gonna
beautiful.
give him a round of
That
applause, man. That was definitely something nice. And you know, hopefully we'll be able to do something like that, you know, again soon in the future. You know, you never know. I don't know if they told you, but we might be working on something like that again.
Yeah, just let me know. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. But so with that being said, I want to go to some of the. I'm gonna jump on the script here, and want to go to answering some of the questions, and we address what the Tory Lanez event was. We do want to say Tory's been an advisory board for Unite the People. He's been on our advisory board for the last 3 years, and he's been helping a lot. Like a lot of people don't know that, and even when that day, I don't know if you were there in the back room when the families were talking, and he kept coming over to me and whispering, "They don't have to say thank you to me."
I know. I saw that.
Yeah, I kept telling the families like, "Hey, you know, we want to say thank you to Tory Lanez and to Unite the People." It's a lot of people in there. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not an easy job. If somebody thinks like, "Oh, Unite the People just in," boy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know, we do invite anyone. You can always come down, volunteer, work in the office with us. Just give us a call. And a lot of people that do that come in and go like, wow, I wouldn't do this for a job. Because it's constant all day, every day. From the moment I walk in. Today, Peyton and I are getting ready for the Long Beach Grand Prix event.
Right.
I'm supposed to be the CEO, right? Man, we're out picking up cheese, nacho cheese cases and wheeling things around. You know what I mean? So it's definitely not something glamorous or none of that. But is beautiful on the inside. I love doing it. I would rather be doing. There's nothing I'd rather be doing,
Yep.
more than this. So, having him for the last 3 years, this is even while I was incarcerated. I was in jail, and he was doing things to help the organization go. So he's been around with us for about 3 years, and he's definitely been involved. But he never wants no one to know. Like he always says, "Oh no, it's cool, it's cool." But to me, man, you're helping the people, man. You should. It's all right I think when people get money, a lot of people with this new social media and the internet, you got to remember, when I went to prison, there was no public internet. There was no Netflix. When I went to prison, it was still Blockbuster.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When I heard about Netflix, like, what is a Netflix? You know what I mean? Cell phones. You either had that big one. No. When I first went to prison,
Right.
they had that flip one,
Yeah.
that black
yeah.
one. He
That
had
would flip
one.
at the bottom, right?
And if you get a colored case, you was the man, right? If you had a colored case, you was a doctor
Yep.
or a drug dealer. You was somebody with big money, right? So there wasn't no internet or Facebook or any of that. But now with the way everything is, if you do say, hey, I'm doing this good, you get bashed. If you don't do anything good, you get bashed. It's just whenever it's your time to be in front of the people, you get bashed. I just think that's wrong. I don't think that brother should have had to keep coming to me and saying like, oh, no, they don't have to tell me thank you. You know what I mean? So,
But I think that speaks volumes about him, though, because that just shows that he was doing it out of the kindness of his heart. So he doesn't feel that he needs those accolades. For him, it was important for him to do for whatever reason. So I think that, number one. And number two, the fact that he doesn't want anybody else, I don't want to say that he doesn't want, but if people know about it, is not important to him. That's not the time we live in. We live in a time now where people are taking selfies as they hand money to homeless people because they want those kinds of accolades. But that's when it's not genuine. So I think what we're seeing from this situation is how genuine it is. And that's another thing that resonated with me from this event was whoever you see in public or on social media, especially from these entertainers, you have no idea who that person really is.
Absolutely.
You just do not, because I don't think anybody would expect to him to go in there and every word that he spoke was so touching.
Yeah.
You could tell that it was heartfelt. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment in its entirety.
right.
So shout out to Tori.
Yeah. Thanks again to Tori, man, and congratulations on your 3rd year with Unite the People.
Yeah.
He's been out here with us longer than I have.
How exactly did he get involved with the cause?
Well, what happened was there's a guy that we've been trying to help for quite a while now, and it's about time that, hopefully his time comes to help him out. But there was a guy that has been helping us as well, help other people and do a lot of things. This guy's incarcerated. And he called me one day, collect, and was like, hey, Tory Lanez is my people, and he really, really, really wants to get involved with a nonprofit organization that is actually out in the streets, actually out doing some work. And because there was another one way bigger than us, them, everybody knows them. They're like the biggest nonprofit, supposed to be working out in the community. But he told them, well, like, look, I want to get involved with your events. I want to do this. I want to do that. And they told him, like, nah, we just really want to use your name. If you just let us use your picture and your name, that's cool. You can basically just stay away. And this was before any of his situation, before any of that. So that just shows you how that organization works. Send us a picture.
Right.
Send us this. Give us a thumbs up and beat it. So he plugged us with Tori, actually with Mitch first. And then I did get a chance to speak with them. And that's what he said. Like, man, hey, he asked us. Like, he literally asked, man, can I get involved with y'all? I see what you guys are doing. We were doing a 3 strikes initiative to change the 3 strikes law in California. We were doing a lot of different things. And he was like, man, will you guys let me in? I was, let me think about it. No, you know what I mean? So I was just, proud of the fact that this guy is really asking, can he get in? So we let him in. He jumped in with us, and he's been around since then.
That's good. That's a
What,
blessing.
3 years?
Yeah, for the last 3 years. What is your next question?
So my next question is, will we be expecting to do something like this again? I know you talked about we wanted to, but because I know when I was talking to some of the families, because I am the one that makes the calls.
She definitely is, and everyone loves her. Everybody that
Yeah, someone told me they love me today, and I was like, oh shuck.
you
Not
didn't
love,
you,
but
you didn't hear that lady during when she came in the office. One of the ladies was like, "Yeah, but where is Chelsea? Because she's so nice."
I have
But,
fans, guys.
Yep.
but people can tell that she actually cares, and that's something that we try to do is bring in people. I'm her uncle. I've been gone forever.
Well,
So she maybe it's my mom. No, but you know what I mean? So they've known that. They know what it's like to sit there like, well, you know, their dad, you know, him and I always been close. So he had to keep me in their minds or their lives through words.
Right.
So they know what it is. So you can tell when she deals with people because they always come in and like, okay, thank you, everybody. But thank you to Chelsea. Where's Chelsea? and that day, one of them women was saying that after she told Tori thank you, she walked out the room and then turned around and was like, but where's Chelsea? I want to say thanks. So
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. And it's good to have, you know, my nieces like that.
yeah. But I say all that to say, I think I was talking to a family, and the lady was like, maybe not this event, the next event. And I was like, well, when you know the next event is going to happen, you let us know.
But I think we can never, I mean, come on. How could you time a celebrity coming in? Even though we were told that we may have some people coming soon. But you don't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll never be able to gauge that. If anybody wants to come to the next Unite the People event, it's Friday, 2 days from now,
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
out in the Grand Prix. Unite the People has a vending booth set up on Vendors Row at the Convention Center, Vendors Row. Families, we start at 7 a.m. on Friday.
Right.
You're more than welcome. We're selling merchandise. We're selling
do we got?
hats. We're selling
We have
T-shirts.
hats,
We're selling
T-shirts.
stickers.
Stickers.
And we have well, quite a few things that we're selling out there.
Right.
Earplugs, because it's going to be really loud. Masks for the people that forget masks. But what we're doing is we're selling merchandise so that we can, I don't want to say necessarily have another event because people need help today.
Right.
We had
Right.
that event was
Right.
Friday. We helped everyone we could. But I guarantee you, even though I was out shopping for merchandise all day, Peyton and I in the truck, there was probably families that called us today like, hey, can I get some help? I don't have no money. What can I do?
Right.
You know, we've had women that actually asked, can they come work their legal fees off in the office?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And we just couldn't do it. I just couldn't see. I wanted to help them. Yeah. But to me, that just seemed wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm very conscious and woke, so that seemed like some slave type thing.
Yeah.
And I just we couldn't okay that, but we did figure out a way to try to assist her. But yeah, so we have that event. We're selling merchandise so that we can help more families. That's inside the Grand Prix. Friday starts at 7 a.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we also have out in front of Unite the People's office, we're having an event where we're selling food, merchandise. We're going to be on the grill. We have snow cones and ices for I want to say for the kids, but for everybody because I
gonna be
will
hot.
be
It's gonna
having
be-
some.
yeah.
It's going to be hot. We have sodas, Gatorades, chips, chili cheese fries, Fritos, chili cheese nachos,
Right.
hot dogs, chili cheese. So
It's going to be good.
yeah, we're
We
going to
taste that.
yeah, and we're going to be out there doing that. And that money is going to go 100% to the nonprofit to try to help more people. Right? We're going to go back and just see what we can do. And so if an event you're looking for with Unite the People, that would be our next event. As far as the celebrity thing goes, hey.
TBD.
We just have to
Yeah,
do
but
it
come
when
out
we
and
do it.
support that, though. You know,
Yeah.
that's a good way to get involved.
Absolutely. We're
meet
going to
you
have
and-
shirts and we're going to have even our Unite the People shirts that everyone loves so much.
Oh, you want me to model?
Oh, model.
Speaking of Unite the People shirts, for our lovely guest, Jackie Rae,
I get a shirt.
Do you?
you get 2 shirts, not just one. You get 2.
Hey, you know,
And
I love, girl,
Here,
look
just
at you
go on,
getting
give
your
it to
whole
me.
Vanna White on. I love it.
Here you go.
There you go.
Thank
Check them out. I don't
you.
know
I'm
if
so
that we got the right
excited.
size.
You got the right color. It's so funny. Like the most of the
You're from the Gray Crips?
Colorado's not that bad now.
Oh my goodness.
Just like Denver.
Well, you know, there's just like Compton is how the song goes. But gray, I have black, white, and gray mostly in my wardrobe. I don't know how that happened because my favorite color is purple and yellow.
Yeah.
That's not a Laker thing. It's just always been a thing.
Right,
Purple,
that's
yellow,
another question.
purple, yellow, and red. Well, let me just tell you, since you just asked, I am a LeBron James fan. So
Okay, me too.
okay, so I have.
I love LeBron.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about you. You
Some people
questionable.
don't like
Can
LeBron.
we get you to hold the shirt
Yes.
up and act like you like it a little
I
bit?
love the shirt.
There you go.
you
This
see?
says justice for all people.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Same as mine.
Until you moved out of the frame.
He bossy over there.
And then the green one, I don't know. We have one thing that says voice for all people. Then we have some that say justice for all people.
Justice for all people.
And what we want to do is I want to personally mail you one
Okay.
that says voice of the people.
Ooh, I love
I mean,
that
because
one.
you are, right?
Yep.
Right? That would fit 100%.
That'd be great. That'll be my like go-to shirt when I'm out interviewing people. You know what I mean?
There you go. There
Yeah,
you go. So
I
we're gonna
love
get you a
it.
couple colors of that and send that over to you too. If you like our shirts, you can buy them online on our website. We have a store space where you can purchase the Unite the People shirts. I think they're only $24.99 or something like that. But all proceeds, there's nothing glamorous here. It goes right to helping the people. So,
Yeah.
Please check out our social media. I mean, our website and our store page, and you too can purchase a shirt. We're going to have some of those shirts out at our event, as well as we have some race shirts
Okay.
that were just for the event.
Mm-hmm.
And some of our staff worked and came up with the slogan, and the slogan's kind of awesome.
What's the slogan?
Can we tell her the slogan?
Can we?
I mean, if you want to.
Now, if we tell you the slogan, we might have to boop, like on MIB. Right? You're going to forget it later, right? But the slogan that we came up with was, it says Grand Prix 2021, go fast or be last.
Ooh. Okay.
Right?
Okay. I like
And,
it.
yeah, it has the checker flags on it. Yeah, it's kind of dope. We're going to have one of those ready for you when you come out.
Nice.
Yeah. And
I will be there.
you can come to the booth, man, and check that out. Anyone wants to come out, come on out to that event. And I know you had a few more questions before we.
Yeah. So if we could go back to kind of like you, because you're our
we
guest,
go.
right?
Let's
So
go back
thanks.
to
I
her.
think it's a good time to ask you some questions. So
Are you black?
what?
I don't know what's happening.
What? So how have you found that the community responds to your work?
That's so Long Beach is very welcoming as far as I literally the after the first podcast that I did, and I need y'all to get back to doing this because it was like one time that I got like so many emails that said, hey, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? Because they understood why I was there. The cool thing now, though, is I'm getting to the point now. I was at, I don't know the name of this restaurant over there off of Shoreline. It's a bar. And I was just sitting there. I just went over there because they have this tuna tartare thing that's fantastic. So I am a little bougie.
Here's Colorado.
So, okay, look here. I'm going to need you to actually go to Colorado before you say Colorado again, sir. Okay.
I went to Colorado.
Did you? What
I
part?
took the train to Denver.
Okay.
I was actually on my way to Ohio. I came through Vegas. And we got off the train, and it was an old brother conductor. Thank God. Probably saved me. I got off the train because I was hungry. And all the rest of the brothers was like, man, you don't get off the train in Denver. Wherever that train stopped, there's a prison right there across from it. I don't know where that is.
Oh, yeah. You got off in by the Denver County Jail?
There was a prison, a big gray building.
Oh, you got the Department of Corrections? Yeah, you wasn't supposed to get off there.
Yeah, so when I got off, I'm
later.
going to look for something to eat. And the old man, young brother. And I'm like, what, man? I'm going to get some meat. I'll be right back. He said, if you go that way, you won't be back. So what? He said, that's...
Did you get some nigga pies? No, I'm joking.
Somebody.
Somebody drank too much. So he tells me that's the white part of town.
Yeah.
And this is the black side. And if you go through that side, you probably won't come back.
See, and that's
I got back on that train.
Yep, and didn't go back.
There you go. What were you about to say?
Denver is one of the lessons that Denver has taught me is how there are parts of Denver that's like that, where it's
Right.
like definitely segregated and you know where you're supposed to go and where you're not. But
Yeah.
the rest of Denver is racist as hell. Let me just say that
Okay.
right now. But you don't necessarily know until you know.
Right.
It's little things like my real name is Jacqueline.
Yeah.
And so it's like once you get out of school and then you're trying to apply for a job and then they're all gun ho on the phone and then you walk in and then they see you and then it's like, not so sure. It's that subtle, those microaggressions.
Right.
So I learned microaggressions before it had a name, you know,
Yeah.
because it was like, and my mom told me one day, I was like, I could be getting all these interviews. She's like, well, it's because of how I named you. I named you so you could get through the door. And I was like, wow, is that what we doing now? Like, it's parents are really thinking about that.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, learning how to deal with that kind of subtle racism really is a blessing when you're talking about your career, because you
Yeah.
can spot it and you know what you're dealing with and you can make moves around it. I'm not saying it's a blessing to deal with racism.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
saying understanding the beast
Navigating
that you're
it,
up
yeah.
against is a
Right.
blessing. So yeah, that's definitely a blessing. I don't know how we got off on this tangent. What was the original question?
We was learning about you, so that's learning. But I want to jump in here real quick, and I want to respond to something that was on our social media. Angela Garcia says, "Hey, oh wow, that's so cool. That would help families for sure. What we did, and so that's beautiful." And then we have a woman who's a great woman, right? She's running for one of the districts out in Compton. She does a lot with the veterans. She does a lot of different things in the community.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah,
Jacqueline Vinters.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so she hit us on social media right now and said, "I have not heard from you, Caesar McDowell."
Oh, well, you have been notified.
Right. But I also want to address that, and I'm glad she did hit me. If you have called the office, Jacqueline, and asked for me, you probably would have found out that I have been out for the past few months, off and on, for literally probably the last 6 months, off and on, having surgeries. I've had surgeries. Surgery went good. Surgeries went bad. And have more surgeries lined up. So I said all that to say this. If anybody ever is calling the office looking for me for anything, feel free to call and speak with the lawyers and the people that actually provide the legal service, because if I'm not around, they're there every day. They're there. You call the 800 number, they'll put you right through, and you'll definitely speak one of the legal team members, especially Miss Venters. Like, I love her to death. If she reminds me, she's like you.
Yeah.
She's definitely a sister about
For
the
the
people.
community,
Yeah,
yeah.
Nice.
she's definitely for the community, and I hate
It's
to.
just great first name.
You guys,
Right.
you guys have the same.
Yeah, and I just hate reading something like that. Like, I haven't having surgery, and I was supposed to have surgery on the 17th of this month, and they put it up, but I'm doing a lot of pills and all of that. I have tubes in my body still, and
You're so happy, though.
blood's coming out of me all day, every day.
So if anybody was wondering about
I know I just said too much, yeah,
his
but
health,
but anyway, so it's been some health issues,
Yeah.
and I haven't really been accessible. Like, normally I'm answering the phones, people are calling my cell phones, and it hasn't been able to do that. I haven't been able to do that. I have been able to be around and do our radio show for the most part, and be in the office helping as much as possible. But yeah, I haven't been able to be that. I haven't been able to be that accessible. So
Well, we're definitely going to keep an eye on you, make sure you're staying healthy. You know,
Yeah.
doing healthy things like drinking water, eating right, maybe not smoking.
oh, you mean not smoking cigarettes? Have you thought about that?
Just throwing it out there.
well, I hear
Have
you. I hear you.
considered-
I think they're just both jealous of my six pack. So with that being said, I just wanted to address that with her because I love her
Yeah.
so much. But we're running out of time. And Chelsea, I know you did have one more question from her. From what I see, you have one more question for Jackie Rae.
Yes. So actually, as someone who went to school for journalism, my question to you was, what are your thoughts, or how do you navigate the state of journalism today? Because if you're kind of unaware, almost anyone with a phone can be like a journalist, like a pretend journalist. So I
Right.
was wondering if you had thoughts.
So that's kind of like the way that everything has gone, though, right? The music business, back in the day, musicians were pissed off because people could stream, and then you adapt. And now streaming is a thing. You can still be profitable. Back in the day, there was Blockbuster. You had to go Netflix actually went to Blockbuster and said, we want to partner with you. Blockbuster was like, no. And now there's no more Blockbuster because they didn't evolve. So everything has to evolve. And that's the thing. That's basically what I'm saying. No matter what you do, it's going to evolve. I saw... I forget his name. He was on The Breakfast Club, and he was saying eventually in 20 years, robots are going to replace most of the service industry. How are we going to evolve? As humans, we have an amazing ability to adapt and evolve. Yeah. News is the way that news is now is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be instant. Right. You're supposed to know this happened 2 seconds ago, so you know you can plan how to react to it. Yes, more information will come after that, but those border patrol, we're supposed to see that instantly. We're not with the whips that were whipping the Haitian people looking like slave masters. We're supposed to see that instantly. That's not supposed to, because back in the day, we would have gotten that information by the end of the day, and by then you can spin the narrative. But when you get that information quickly, it's difficult for you to spin it. You can try, and of course they will. They're going to try. Say, oh, well, we thought it was less force, or they don't have guns. We thought that they're going to spin it. But you still, when you get that image right away, you have less of an opportunity to taint the minds of the people, because they can make their minds up in an instant. Good or bad, they can make and that's how news is supposed to be. So like I was telling you earlier, the 9 o'clock news, 11 o'clock news, that's going to go away at some point, because I read a study the other day that said 60% of Americans get their news from social media. Yeah, that's me. So now the responsibility becomes getting the news out quickly and getting it out to the right people. And you can do that. I put my podcast, if I have something that's newsworthy, I put it on my Instagram, and I know which ones are hitting, because all of a sudden I'll have like 1,000 views on something where normally I average like 300, so it's like, that's how news is supposed to be. Right. So eventually how I see news going is it's a 24-hour news staff. Right now, news stations close. So there is a time when nobody's in the newsroom. That's going to change. Somebody is going to be sitting there getting news from everywhere at all times, because you just don't know who's going to scroll. So the good thing about the journalists, and I've had people come to me all the time and say, journalism's going to die away. I'm like, you're not reading the room the same way I am. Yeah. When you're talking about a 24-hour newsroom just to make sure you can get stuff out on social, that's an increase in employment. More people are going to need jobs. And not only that, you're going to have people in very specific neighborhoods that you're all of a sudden going to contract out and say, hey, I need you to go cover this event because I hear this is happening. I need you to get up right now and go do that. That's going to provide more freelance work. Most of my work that I get, I make good money, not from one job though. Most of them, I freelance a lot. Yeah. And it's because there's a need for that. And so people are never going to lose their desire for the written word. The written word is just a beautiful thing, period. That's not going to go away. Are they going to want to read a newspaper? No. But are they going to want to read it online? Yes. Are they going to want to see somebody that they can relate to, who they feel like speaks to them, tell them about it? Absolutely. Will they want it in maybe a 30-second to a minute format? Probably, which means need more people. Because I can't give you 100 minutes of me every day. You need to change that up. Right. So news is always going to be around, and as long as I have 2 cameras. One I keep in my car, one is my news camera. The one that I have in my car is in case something happens when I'm driving, because guess who's going to pull over and get out and report on it? And then even if it doesn't apply to Long Beach, guess where it will apply? On my own personal platform. Right. So news is always going to be a thing. It's something that the people need, because a lot of the movements that we've seen thus far is because of how we're getting our news now. Right. And so we have to embrace that, because it's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
So,
it's a beautiful way to look at it.
Hey, let's wrap it up with the video. So.
With the video again?
Yeah, we're going to end it with the video.
Oh, I thought you wanted to be like, cheese.
Oh, wait, I thought Hey.
All right. So, again, thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. CPIRadio.org. Unite the People, YouTube, and Facebook. We know it's new here, but we're going to get it up. We're going to get it marketed. We're going to get lots of viewers. You can always go back for shows that you have missed. For the last few weeks, we've been having guys that are incarcerated call in. We do have a call-in number now. We've had guys that we are getting resentenced, get them in front of the district attorney. One guy called in last week like, hey, man, it's 4 of us right here, and we got these things from the DAs and our cases. So that's huge, right?
That is
For me,
huge.
that's big,
Yeah.
right? So, you always feel free to go on our YouTube page or our Facebook, or it's even posted. It's not live on Instagram, but it's posted the next day on Instagram. And you can always check out any of our past radio shows.
CPI.
And also listen in on cpiradio.org. I want to say thank you, Jackie.
Thank you for having
Appreciate
me.
you coming on. We're going to give a round of applause. Thank you. Uh-oh, there you go.
Fun guest.
Yeah. She's definitely a black girl. and again, for the people that you don't see that help put this all together, we have Joe Vegas, we have Mitch McDowell, Brother Peyton Sanders, Laurie Sanders, Chloe, Destiny, Chelsea, of course. They do all the producing. And then we have Uncle Kevin. Uncle Kevin, he's always here to hold us down and make sure everything goes right.
Yeah.
He put the crickets on Uncle Kevin.
It was bootleg crickets, though. It sounded like a bicycle.
But thank you, everyone, man. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, and we're going to end it with the video. Check out this video from
Been an
our
advisory
event
board
Friday
member for
with
3
Tory
years.
Lanez.
Yes, prison
Helping
reform
out the families.
non-profit organization that helps people get legal representation.
It's Unite the People. We're a nonprofit organization that promotes social justice throughout the United States, as well as we provide affordable legal services to the underserved communities throughout the state of California.
So we go past the time of like once people already get sentenced,
Right.
we're fighting for them when they already got sentenced.
It's not over.
Right.
It's not
Right.
over.
Thank you to Unite the People because this means a lot to me and my son. My husband doesn't deserve to be in there. Without you, I wouldn't have been able to do this because he really wants to be home with his son and his daughter.
There you go. There you go.
Jordan, it's nice to meet you, Jordan. I'm Tory. When he come home, your dad come home, have party cake, all that. Alright? Truly people who've been through the situation as well that are gonna feel for you and feel exactly what you're going through and they're gonna fight from that same perspective. So we got you.